Hi, my name is Nelson Nahum. I am the CEO of Zadara Storage, and today I wanted to do this bright talk about 4 reasons why enterprise storage as a service is taking off. At the end of the presentation, we will have some time for questions and answers, and so you are very welcome to type your questions at any time. So we start the presentation. We have a big difference between the market for the cloud that today is in billions versus enterprise IT that is in trillions. So what are the reasons why still the market in enterprise IT is order of magnitude bigger than the cloud, and what we can do in order to make the cloud adoption going faster? So you can see here in the iceberg picture that there are many applications that still need to stay in the enterprise IT inside the data center, Oracle and clusters and Exchange and things like that. While people are moving to the cloud, test environment, web hosting, software as a service, development, etc. What we want to do, because of economic reasons and many other reasons, is to move more and more of these applications to the cloud. And in this presentation, we will explain how Zadara Storage and our product help with this movement. If you look at the data center, there are 3 main components. There's compute, networking, and storage. We can see that compute or virtual machines are very similar in the data center than in the cloud. It's almost the same to create a virtual machine in your own data center versus creating a virtual machine in the cloud. Networking is less similar, but still many of the cloud providers allow you to create your own network, create your own firewalls, you create all the networking infrastructure, subnet, routing, like you will do in your own data center. However, one of the barriers for adoption of the cloud has been storage. The storage in the cloud is completely different than storage in the data center. In the cloud, people use object storage, and there is ephemeral storage, while in the data center, people use SAN and NAS storage arrays. Zadara was founded with the premise to solve this problem, to basically make the cloud storage very, very similar like the storage in the data center. So what are the main limitations today of cloud storage? Cloud storage usually is a shared environment, so performance is very variable. It could be low, could be high, but there is a lot of variability because the same spindle of the same storage is accessed by multiple customers. Obviously, this have a question about security. What happens when a drive fail and the drive is retired? What happened with my data? Availability. There are many cases where there is no real possibility to do what in the data center you will do disaster recovery and things like that. Consistency and control. You don't, in the cloud, you don't have control about the storage. The only control that you have is what is the capacity of the storage that you need, but not more than that. So all these drawbacks in today's cloud storage, I think they are part of the issues why the cloud storage is so different and why it's difficult to move applications like Oracle or Exchange into the cloud. So then it comes enterprise storage as a service. Let's see what the typical enterprise storage in your own data center, like an EMC setup or HP or IBM, etc., you will have. So in this type of storage environment, you define your controller, you buy the controller according to the performance you need, the amount of cache. You can buy different type of drives. Some workloads you decide to have SATA drives, some workloads you want SAS and SSDs. You decide which type of RAID algorithms to use, RAID 10, RAID 5, RAID 6, all different kind of capabilities depend on your application. You have the full control when you buy your storage in the data center and when you configure your storage in the data center to configure in the way that you need for your particular application. Not all applications need the fastest storage, and not all applications need the most lower cost. So you buy and you configure your storage according to the performance that you need, or if you don't need performance, you can use SATA drives and RAID 5 or RAID 6 kind of capability. You have in the data center as well block and file access. In the cloud, you have object storage and ephemeral storage, and you want to have cluster capabilities, etc. So what Zadara provides is exactly the same, basically like having a storage array in the cloud for you. You can do exactly the same things, decide which type of drive, how many drives, which type of RAID algorithm, exactly the same configuration, block access, file access, but in the cloud. And in the cloud means also with the economics of the cloud as a service. So this is better than on-premise. And the reason is because it's completely elastic. You can add and modify as you want. If you need another 10 drives, you do a few clicks and you have 10 drives immediately available. You can have performance isolation between the different customers. There is no upfront cost. You don't need to spend the big money to buy these expensive storage arrays. You start using as cloud storage. You use and you pay for what you use. So you start using today. There's a price per hour, and there's no commitment at all. You can use for 1 week, for 1 month, for 1 year, and you can expand or shrink at any time. So you have all the good capabilities of enterprise storage arrays with the good economics of cloud, all at the same time with Zadara. As I say, we put ourselves in the top right corner when you have a chart like this, that you have consistency and elasticity. So consistency of performance in the dedicated SAN and NAS storage in the data center, you have it. However, these boxes are very rigid and very expensive. On the other hand, in the cloud, you have the total flexibility and elasticity, but you have low cost and inconsistent performance storage. What we provide is the same consistency in performance and reliability and features of storage array, but in the cloud and with the elasticity of the cloud and with the price of the cloud. Different angle. Sometimes people have trade-off between performance or availability, and in our case, we have both. Like any SAN or NAS array in the data center, you have high performance and high availability at the same time. So let's talk about the 4 reasons. Right now, we just talk about Zadara. But the 4 reasons we see why people are start moving into enterprise storage as a service or enterprise cloud storage is these 4 reasons. You get agility that you don't get in your own data center. The economics of the cloud. You have full feature storage and security. And we will go through all of each one of these reasons, but those are reasons why you will want to move storage that is in your own data center and start thinking, okay, maybe I should use the cloud for not just for development and test, maybe I should use the cloud for other applications and production applications. Let's talk about agility. First of all, it is an hourly service. You don't need to plan upfront. When you buy a SAN or NAS device, typically what happens is you need to buy much more than you need because these are long-term capital expenses, and you want to buy upfront and you use only 30, 50, in the best case, 60% of the storage that you need. With Zadara, you get exactly the same NAS array, but pay hourly, and when you decide to buy, you can buy exactly what you need. So today you have a project that requires 10 terabytes, you do a couple of clicks, and you create your own virtual array with 10 terabytes. Tomorrow you need another project for another 20 terabytes, you buy this. If you need to shrink because one of the projects is gone, you just delete the virtual array and it is gone. So it is an hourly service. You don't need to do expensive planning up front. You don't need to buy more than you need. There is zero commitment. It's basically the reason why we price hourly, and this is a question that comes many times, that people asking why somebody will use only for 1 hour. Well, we price hourly not because people will use only for 1 hour, but because the commitment is 1 hour. So if you start today, that is December 4th, and you have your own storage created, and 1 week later you test it and you want to remove, you pay only for 1 week. If you use for 3 months, you pay only for 3 months. And this is why the granularity is 1 hour for the pricing, for the billing. The other important thing, as I said, is the elasticity. You have a new project, you do a couple of clicks, and you have your new storage. One of the projects is gone, a couple of clicks, you shrink. You don't need to plan up front how much you will need. You don't need to spend much more than you need. You just can grow and shrink on demand, exactly like in the cloud. The other thing regarding specific to Zadara is that you can support your existing business application as is. So many times people say, well, I like the cloud, I like the pricing, I like the model that is pure OpEx, I don't need to spend capital, I have the full agility, but especially in storage, I need to rewrite my application to use object storage or to avoid shared storage and things like that that are not available in the cloud. This is no longer true. With Zadara, you have a nice SCSI array or NFS or SIFS array, and you can use it in the cloud, and your existing applications will mount this storage exactly in the same way that you have your own storage in the data center. No need to rewrite the applications, no need to do upgrades of the applications. You just run the applications in a virtual machine in the cloud exactly as you will run in your own data center. So agility is one of the biggest reasons why customers using our service, they want to have the cloud agility and at the same time they have the enterprise storage capabilities, especially software as a service businesses that they don't know upfront how many customers they will have. So typically software as a service, what they will want to do is when they sign a new customer, they basically create the full environment for them. So if for example, a software as a service require a database and a web server and file servers and things like that, they don't want to buy all this equipment up front, and for every new customer they sign, they basically create immediately, it take a minute to create a storage array and the full environment in the cloud like they will have in the data center. So many software as a services companies are moving from on-premise to the cloud. You can see here how you provision a virtual array. This is our cloud console. So the thing is very easy. You put the name of the virtual array. You select your cloud provider, where the storage or where the application will run. As you can see, we have multiple options. With Amazon, we are present in Amazon East, in Amazon West, in Europe, and in Japan. We have also presence in Dimension Data, in Equinix, KVH is in Japan, and we have other options. So you select where you want to run the application, if you want in Amazon East or in Amazon West, etc. Then you select the type of controller. You can see here what we call the Zadara engine. The Zadara engine is a dual controller configuration, and there are 4 different type of controllers according to the CPU, RAM, and the number of IOPS that you need for your storage. Once you select the type of controllers, and always we do dual controller configuration, always high availability, then you select the type of drives and the number of drives. And you can see here we have the possibility to select STaaS drive with 15K RPM for high performance databases and things like that. We have what we call repository drives. Those are SATA 3 terabytes that are low performance but very inexpensive in terms of gigabytes price. And if you really need very high performance in the cloud, we also have the possibility to have SSD drives in the virtual array. And you can mix and match. Basically, you can say, I want a virtual array with, let's say, 30 terabytes of SATA for my backups, but I want also 2 terabytes of SAS for my database and a few hundred gigabytes of SSD for logs and things like that. We also offer what we call Enterprise Suite. Enterprise Suite is all the data protection capabilities present in a regular or SAN or NAS device, like snapshots, remote replication, clones, team provisioning, SSD caching, all these capabilities that you have in your own data center, exactly the same thing in the cloud. Once you configure the number of drives, controllers, and where you don't want or not the Enterprise Suite, you have a price per hour on the right side, and the price per hour is what you pay. The moment that you click Submit, a minute later you have your own SAN or NAS device. By the way, it's SAN and NAS, so every virtual array is, you can provision both iSCSI, NFS, and CIFS. And you have the price per hour. A minute later, you have your own storage. You start mounting the storage into the applications, and you pay for the number of hours you use the storage. If you use for 1 hour, you pay, in this case, 79 cents. If you use for 1 month, typically a month is 730 hours, depend on the month, but you will pay about 730 times 79 cents. That is about $500 or something like that. Second reason, economic. So we talk about elasticity. You have a new project, you bring up a new storage immediately, a new SAN storage or NAS in a minute. But also economic. So elasticity and agility is very good, but we need low cost. You need low cost, and the cloud is about low cost. Why is low cost? Because there is a lot of technology in order to make it lower cost. For example, we have much better capabilities in order to manage the storage from a single location, from a single person can manage petabytes of storage. So this is the type of economic that you get by basically outsourcing the storage management to somebody else. So low cost, elasticity is part of the low cost. We have global footprint that is very important. If you have applications that need to do disaster recovery, for example, and you need to have another site for disaster recovery, if you need to have the real estate and the power and things like that, it takes a lot of money to create a DR site. In our case, we have already this deployed. You can very easily create a virtual array in the East Coast, a virtual array in the West Coast, immediately connect between them and do disaster recovery in this way. So global footprint is part of the economic reasons why you want to go to the cloud, because then you don't need to have all these different data centers managed by yourself. And we can do multi-vendor. Our storage can be connected to multiple clouds, and you can move from cloud to cloud. So you can shop around between the different cloud providers and say, I want to move from Amazon to Dimension Data or to Cloud Sigma to other cloud providers. So you get, as I say, we are present currently in these providers, and you can replicate data between them. As well, the last bullet is important. We started offering on-site appliance, so you can have storage as a service in your own data center, also replicating to the cloud if you want, and paying monthly fees as a service. Basically, this storage is managed by us, is an appliance that we put in your own data center, it's our appliance, and you pay per use. regarding the location, you can see here where we are present, and we are opening locations at a very high rate every month, every 2 months, a new site. But you can see you have enough location that you can do very cost-effective disaster recovery. You can have storage very close to your applications and to your data center. So we have till now the agility, the convenience of the agility, the convenience of the economics of moving to the cloud. What happened with the features? So when you move to the cloud, you expect to have exactly the same capabilities that you have in your own data center. And this is why we provide what we call this enterprise suite that allow you to have business continuity capabilities like snapshots, like clones, remote replication, team provisioning. Those are things that you use in a daily basis in your own data center, and you expect that by moving applications to the cloud to have exactly the same backup procedures, etc. So we provide a SAN or NAS device with exactly the same capabilities that all typical enterprise storage arrays. In top of that, we provide some of things that are very important in the cloud, like performance optimization and especially monitoring. When you are in the cloud, one of the issues is that, okay, if something not perform like you want, how you detect and how you debug performance issues. Well, our storage, because it was built for the cloud, we provide total visibility about the performance of any object of the storage. So you can go to click on a drive and you see the IOPS and the latency and the bandwidth, etc. You can go to a volume, you can go to a RAID group. For everything, for every object in our management GUI, you can see the performance immediately. So you can basically, at least on the storage side, be sure that it's performing as you want, and if it is not performing, then you know what is the bottleneck. Maybe you have too many volumes on a particular drive or things like that. So you can discover the bottlenecks by looking at our performance monitoring GUI. The other feature that is important is the privacy. So we will talk about security, but this is very important in the cloud. And privacy, by privacy means we provision dedicated drives to you. So, and we are the only storage as a service that does that. When you create a virtual array in the cloud and you say, I want 10 drives, there are 10 physical drives that are allocated to you. And this means that nobody else is doing IOs or nobody else is writing data on those same drives. We allocate the CPU and the memory and the virtual machine. We allocate the networking. We separate with VLANs, etc. So you have a complete private storage array. Even more, the IP address where you access the storage is a private IP address. So the IP address can be accessed only from the virtual machines in the cloud in your own VPC, for example. Okay, so only your virtual machines can access the storage. So in summary, we have, in terms of features, we have the classical features present in storage arrays in the data center, plus the additional features needed in order to be comfortable to run these applications in the cloud around performance monitoring and the privacy. You can see here actually a diagram that shows what are the different storage options in the cloud. So in the cloud there is what we call ephemeral storage. Ephemeral storage is the storage that is created with your virtual machine in the cloud. Typically this storage is non-persistent, so the moment you shut down the virtual machine, the storage disappears. Obviously this is not a good option. Also it's local storage. If you want to do some kind of high availability, it's not possible. There are persistent block volumes in the cloud as well, but the performance is much lower than the ephemeral. With fast, you can have the availability of high availability by having dual controller, RAID configurations, etc., with high performance. And on top of that, we have these unique capabilities. You can see data encryption that we will talk in a minute, RAID selection. We are the only cloud storage that you can select if you want RAID 6 or RAID 5 or RAID 10, and you can obviously have mix and match of different RAID configurations. Performance monitoring, clustering, volume sharing. In the cloud, typically, neither the ephemeral volume, neither the persistent block volumes allow you to share the volume between multiple virtual machines because it's only local to the virtual machine. This makes it complicated to do things like clustering that require shared storage. If you have a clustered application like Microsoft SQL or clustering or Red Hat clustering, etc., that you use in your own data center and you need shared storage, then you can use Zadara. You cannot use the classical cloud storage. There's no sharing capabilities. NFS sys, same with storage sharing. You need to have, if you need to have data that is shared at high speed by multiple virtual machines, you can present with Zadara volumes that are shared, and you can share this via NFS or sys and share between multiple virtual machines. We do have availability across availability zones. So in a typical cloud environment, you have multiple what is called AZ availability zones that are basically data centers. Typically, the storage of one virtual machine is only available in this availability zone. In our case, our storage is available via SCSI or NFS to multiple availability zones. So you can not only you can do clustering for high availability, you can do clustering between availability zones or between data centers. You can have a virtual machine in availability zone 1, a virtual machine in availability zone 2, mounting a SCSI volume, Zadara SCSI volume, and both can fail over and in case of a disaster in one of the data centers, power issues, etc. We do have instant snapshot and remote replication. Even though many cloud providers use as the backend storage classical EMC or NetApp storage, that they are very good at remote replication, they still don't provide remote replication to their customers because remote replication requires that all the storage for that customer is in one place. It also requires the customer to manage the remote replication because you want to do your DR test at your own time. So remote replication is a feature that's not available in the cloud today, and we provide. You can create a virtual array in the East Coast, virtual array in the West Coast, and replicate and do DR. We talk about the first three, agility, economics, features, and the last is security, obviously. And the last, but not least, I would say. Security in the cloud is very important. It's becoming more important by the day. And we did a lot of work in order to make our system very secure. So, for example, as I said before, we dedicate resources. The drives are your drives. We have a customer that came from the healthcare environment, and they say, well, I want to make sure where is my data. And even more, if I leave, I want to make sure that my data is back. So what do you do? And we told them that because in our case you create virtual arrays with specific drives, in the worst case scenario, what we can do is if you really want to make sure the data is back, we can even ship you the drive back to you. You can buy the drives from us, we take the drives out, we send you back, and you make sure that the data is destroyed accordingly. So as opposed to share storage in the cloud that you don't really control where is the storage, in our case, your storage or your data is in particular drives, and you know that only you have access to this drive. Besides that, we provide data at rest and data in flight encryption. A customer can decide to encrypt the volumes, and the unique thing is that we provide encryption in such a way that you, as a customer, put the encryption password. So the only person that can access this encrypted volume is yourself. If you lose the password, you lose the data. We don't have the password, the password is stored in memory of these virtual controllers that are only accessible by you, and the only way that the data can be back is if you insert the encryption password. So this is a very unique feature, and we have many customers using this encryption capability, because if you encrypt the data and then you leave, you're completely sure that nobody can take a drive and try to read the data from the drive. It's always encrypted, and the password is in memory, and you are the only one accessing the password. Finally, we have other security capabilities like VLAN separation. So every virtual array has a separated VLAN and private IP address, as I said before. So there is no way that a customer can access a virtual array of a different customer. They are completely isolated, and it only can be accessible by you. We have other capabilities like CHAP authentication in iSCSI and things like that. But my point is that we understand that by moving applications into the cloud, you really want to pay attention on security, something that in your own data center may be less important if you have the storage array in your own glass house. In the cloud, it's very important, and we pay attention on that, and there is a lot of features in security. You can see here how the multi-tenancy is achieved. We have storage and servers as the physical infrastructure, but every customer has his own virtual array. Every customer is completely separated in terms of physical resources, as well as logical virtual LANs, etc. Are completely separated. Each customer has his own management. So by this, we cover the four reasons. We think that these are very strong reasons, and we see that our customers are moving their application from data center to the cloud, mostly because of the agility that this provides, the economics, the features, and the security are things that we ensure in order for you to enjoy about the agility and the economics. And at this time, I will open the questions, if somebody has any questions. You want to submit any questions? I have here a question. Somebody asked, what is the latency between the applications and the storage? So this is iSCSI and NFS storage. This is not object storage, and by doing that, this needs to live co-located with the application. So this is why when you decide to create a virtual array, we let you decide where to put the virtual array, because the place of the virtual array need to be exactly in the same place that you have the virtual machine with the application. So the latency is very, very small because we are co-located. It's about 1.5 to 2 milliseconds from the virtual machine in Amazon, let's say, all the way to the storage. If there are any other questions. There is a question about the price. We don't typically charge by gigabyte per month, because we allow you to configure the storage like in the data center. So the way that we charge is by the type of drive, by the number of drives, obviously, and the type of controller, like you will buy a SAN or NAS for your own data center. So the price per gigabyte depends drastically on the type of drive. Obviously, if you do an all SSD array, the price per gigabyte will be higher. If you do all SATA array, it will be much lower. The minimum cost, the minimum virtual array is 3 drives, and I will say that the minimum price for our service is about $600. That will be the minimum price, and really depend on what type of storage you use, and the price per gigabyte will be compatible or a little bit higher, but not much higher than Amazon prices. Okay. If there are, we'll wait another minute for one more question. Okay. I think that this is all for now. Okay. Okay. I have a question now. The question is, do you have any charts or performance showing different configurations, baby, etc.? We have obviously performance benchmarks, but what we do is, and again, performance benchmarks are typically done with iometer tools and things like that. We can provide for customers that talk to us some of the performance benchmark, but the most important thing is that we do, and this is the best way to you do your own performance, is we give a free trial of 1 week. So 1 week of free trial, and you can really run your application, because sometimes performance, especially storage performance, it really depends on many things and how your application, the type of IOs, and if it is big IO, small IO, random, or sequential, or how many queues, etc. So we can provide this benchmark, but what I tell customers is much easier. The best way to do is take the free trial. You have 1 week, completely free trial, run your application, and do the real benchmark that is your real application running in the storage. It's completely free. You don't need to have any even credit card to sign up. You go to our website, say free trial, register there with your email address, and you can start working. There is another question now. Could you share some of use cases for Zadara storage on AWS? What type of companies are using your service? Yeah, so as I said before, many companies, software as a service companies, are using our service mostly because of the agility. But storage is quite horizontal in terms of type of company that needs storage. We have from very small startups all the way to Fortune 50 companies running in Amazon with our storage. A very good use case is NAS. One of our biggest NAS customers in terms of number of virtual machines is a internet portal in Brazil. They have 170 virtual machines accessing our VPSA, the storage, at the same time at very high performance. This could be one of the use cases. People that need databases, people that need NAS, people that need encryption, disaster recovery. Those are typical cases that use our storage and not Amazon. I have another question. If I am already using AWS, what is the main advantage of using your product with AWS as opposed to using AWS directly, EBS S3 Direct Connect? Okay, that's I think it's related to the previous question. So, for example, if you need different type of storage, either for higher performance using SSDs, or because you need sharing between multiple EC2 machines for clustering, or you need NAS storage, NFS, CIFS, like the previous customer mentioned. We also do disaster recovery. If you want to make sure you have the data both in the east and the west, and you can switch very quickly between them, this would be another reason to use our storage. If you want to encrypt the data and manage the encryption keys, is another reason to use our storage as opposed to Amazon. So many different reasons why customers choose us versus EBS. Regarding S3, we are completely different. S3 is object storage. We are iSCSI and NFS and CIFS. So I will say customers that really need, if you only need to store the data and not need to access, and object storage is good, I will say go with S3. If you need to work with the data, having frequently updates, or you need very low latency, to the data, then you can use NFS and SIF that is much lower latency than going S3. So those will be the scenarios. I will say that our little overlap between the use cases of EBS S3 and our use case. I hope that I answered these questions. We can wait another minute for more questions. If you want to rate this Bright Talk, I will be very happy. I got 5-star. I'm very pleased to the person that rated 5-star. Thank you. Okay, I think that we are closing right now. I hope that I answered all the questions. You have my email address, and my telephone, and Twitter, and you are very welcome to send more questions private via email or call me, and we will be really happy to help. And again, it's completely free to trial. And I will really suggest that people that want to see what we are doing to try that. In general, the feedback from the customer is, wow, I didn't know that this is possible. So go ahead and send me an email, and we can start a trial, and we'll be happy to help. Thank you very much.